Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Hello, TJ. Coming at you live from Atlanta, Georgia. It's your boy, the one and only Chris Black. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been freezing cold in LA lately, and today it's a little warm. I think we're gonna be touching 80. So I'm feeling good. But it's weird how I've been noticing how the cold temperature really affects my mood and just my overall level of happiness. I mean, I'm not saying I get depressed in the cold, but it makes me much less happy and probably much less enjoyable to be around.
Yeah, you're tough to be around to begin with. So you add in the cold.
I don't think that's true. I think I'm a pretty easygoing guy.
No, you are an easygoing chap. But I find, Atlanta right now, it's in the 50s, but it's like crispy and the leaves are changing and it's sunny. So it makes it tolerable. And also, like, that's what I signed up for, right? Whereas California, if it's not 80 degrees, I'm pissed off.
What's the bloom? Yeah, it's like going to Vegas and them saying, like, it's
you can't smoke inside.
Can't smoke inside. It's a dry bar, whatever it is. Like, why the freaking hell am I even here, guys? So it's a weird thing that I've been noticing especially as I get older, where it's just like, ugh. I mean, there's a strong chance my ass is just going to end up retiring in Florida or something because I need it to be a nice 80 degrees all day.
Luckily, you could hop in the spaceship and head down to Palm Springs anytime to get that just hard vitamin D if you need it.
Well, that's kind of because eventually the weather in Palm Springs doesn't, it starts getting just as cold, if not colder at night anyway, so...
Miami's your only hope, is what you're saying?
It's going to have to be. Unless if I want to stay inside these twisted, crooked United States of America.
Well, you don't have a choice right now, so
No, I'm talking about my future permanent residence, not for a weekend getaway.
Yeah. Well, look at me. I understand. I was absolutely enchanted, brainwashed with the Los Angeles temperatures, and which is something I'd experienced many times in my life, but I didn't realize how hard it hit on a day-to-day basis to wake up, crack the heavy blackout curtains at the Villa Carlotta and see the sun shining through the palm trees and reflecting off the pool. It was hitting hard.
Damn. No more. Well, what's going on in Georgia?
Oh, not much. Just I got a tennis coach here.
Have you taken a lesson Jordan. Yet?
Yeah, I played with him on Monday. So I went. This is my dream situation. I went straight from a Olympic ring session that Hunter had programmed for me and emailed over right into a tennis lesson just down the street.
It was a real bang bang is what we did.
Yes, it was a bang bang of exercise on a Monday morning, a kind of overcast and chilly Monday morning, but I made the best of it, and Jordan played at Georgia Tech, and he told me a very interesting thing that I think you'll like. The guy that went to Georgia, John Eisner, the really tall guy.
I've been compared to him often. Go on.
Yeah, because you both look like there's a little something wrong with you.
That's right.
So he said that they used to, obviously because Georgia Tech are big rivals, he said his coach would stand on a box and serve to them so they would get used to the angle it would be coming from.
Ooh.
Very interesting, right? I thought you would like that little tidbit.
That's some pro gear, pro attitude move right there.
Exactly. But Jordan, I like him. The vibe is good. He said that he corrected a few of my problems. I'm seeing results already. So hopefully tomorrow, lesson 2, we can just build on that. You know.
Thank God. Well, should I bring my racket when I venture down south?
Oh, we're playing every day, bro. This ain't a game. Also,
okay.
You know, in Nashville, I have an uncle who's an incredible player.
Shit. Okay. Well,
we might have to link up. We might have to link up with him and get our asses kicked by a 60-year-old man.
Finally, have somebody play against. Give me a little challenge. Feels good.
But yeah, it's been pretty good, honestly.
No, that's great. I'm
nice
looking forward to it. And then our respective life partners could play tennis with each other.
It's exactly. Yeah, I mean that's what people do. I think I don't. I am concerned about the workouts going into this. Just because travel time. You know what I mean? So I am bringing a 35-pound kettlebell for you.
Thank you.
I will have my rings so we can hit a local public park wherever we are and get these workouts in. Because I know TJ during the holiday season he likes to slack off a little bit, doesn't he?
I do, and I think that the words that you just used right there. I like to slack off, meaning I arguably could be doing it on purpose. I don't know if that's true or not, though, or I don't know if that's what the world needs me to be doing.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
The world definitely doesn't need it. I don't need it because that's going to affect my wallet. The hotter TJ is, the more money I make. So let's not let ourselves go too much.
Okay. I mean, don't worry. Since I am 6 feet 9 inches tall, I can gain or lose 10 to 15 pounds, and
it's true.
Nobody really knows it other than if you're somebody who really inspects how puffy my face gets or something like that.
Well, luckily that's what I do. So I'll be able to let you know quick, fast. If I haven't seen you, it'll be a full month since I've seen you. So I'll be able to let you know without a scale what you're looking like.
Yeah, I'm going to be full Tom Hanks castaway mode. I'm going to have a very long beard. I will be rattling off facts to myself. I should be, my weight should be down to 160 or so because in light of not working out as much as I was during the summer months, I have to offset that by starving myself even more.
Perfect. Well, I mean, you're going to be. I mean, you love to eat. You love to eat, and there are some. Luckily, Magic City hot wings are available on Goldbelly. So,
are they really?
Yes, I believe they are.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
pretty sick.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this to our listeners, but yeah, for the holidays. For a little Christmas, a little Hanukkah, a little New Year's, that magical week of December, the final week, I will be going down with my life partner to the motherland, and we're gonna boot scoot all around the South.
Yes, we're gonna be boot scooting.
If I'm allowed to leave Los Angeles,
I am the tour guide, and luckily I have big connects in all of the cities we'll be visiting. I don't want to release those city names now. I'm just afraid of our safety, obviously. So once we get there, maybe we'll acknowledge it. But I mean, for me, in some of these southern cities, I have an appetite to do a How Long Gone live event. You know what I mean? I feel like if we're gonna be somewhere together, we got to be making bread, baby. We can't just be eating it and spending it.
So I'm over here like, damn. Like, I don't even care that I'm going to be in some podunk town as long as I just get to, eat some fucking fried catfish and some collard greens and have some sweet tea. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. And you're over here like, all right, I booked 3... I booked 3 venues. We're opening up for blah, blah, blah. We're doing a stand-up tour.
There's some small theaters available that are open in some of these southern cities. So I thought, a small 300 to 500 cap, I think we could probably do. No. I'm kidding. But I do. Even though we're going to be on holiday, the podcast schedule doesn't stop. So why not throw a few things in? We could do a book signing. Whatever works out.
Yeah. I do have I don't have that many books. But I'll see what I can fit in the luggage.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
No,
yeah.
none
Just
that
shit-
I've written, just loose books that I have around that I
just
won't
stuff
get
that you
to.
have. That's perfect. But I think that I don't like to waste opportunities, Jason. I like to make sure I like to make the most of every day. That's
get
why
it.
I'm on my CEO Grussel. And this is no different.
You don't
This is,
you don't
if you
want
think,
a dime holding up a dollar.
exactly. If you think this is a time to slack off, that's why I'm going to be eating your lunch in 2021. You fucking losers.
Yeah, and it's going to be yummy as hell.
So I just saw a friend here actually, and I had a very cool experience. I just want to tell you about it. My friend Matt Lambert, who worked at Sid Mashburn for years, he was like a right hand. He has left to start his own brand, and it's called Factors. And I went to his showroom, and he's making these insane, like kind of 70s inspired, like horse hide, black leather Celine suits is the vibe. They're very cool. Yeah, I mean, he's making a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of clothes. He's doing Oxford shirts that are really interesting with no placket. He's doing full suits. But a way that he's starting his business is he's customizing Ben Davis. So I went there, and he had a pair of blue Ben Davis pants in my size, and I tried them on, and he fully measured and like is going to tailor them for me from his studio, which I thought was a really interesting thing to do.
So you got a bespoke Ben Davis trouser.
Exactly, but I think that we all take our because we're all faking our blue collar valor, or we take our Carhartts and Dickies to get tailored, without an expert necessarily. But now Matt is a true expert who knows how to drape clothing on people. So he had a pair of loafers in the space for me to use to try on. So we got that perfect no break ankle for me.
Wow.
And I was just really impressed. I thought it was very fun and cool. And it's also like to get
What's
that
the price
kind of
point
treatment.
hitting?
I'm of course not sure about that yet. You know what I'm saying? We don't, but it's much more affordable than a suit, obviously. So that's part of the appeal, right? You get that same treatment. He popped a Topo Chico out of his mini fridge for me. We were listening to a little Link Ray on vinyl. I mean, it was a good vibe.
I didn't know they had any of this stuff down in the South, Chris. This is blowing my fucking mind.
I'm going to show you a lot of things, TJ, and some of it's going to be good and some of it might be bad.
Okay, I mean, I'll just be pleasantly surprised if I can rustle up some running water and electricity.
Well, let me say this, but you need to pack your carry-on with plenty of edibles because I don't want TJ getting ornery.
Oh, don't worry.
You need to be zooted, especially Christmas dinner with my parents. Like, I'm not
going to get high for a Christmas dinner with your parents. Do your parents drink? They don't really drink that much, right?
My dad will do a tequila shooter with you, maybe.
A tequila? Wow, that escalated quickly.
But they don't really drink, weirdly. It's funny because I think my mom has a famous story of trying champagne once and never drinking again, and being at a Kiss concert and a joint being passed her, and she didn't want it, so she just put it on the ground and stomped it out like a cigarette. But
okay,
my dad
these are all great stories that I plan on getting into for our Black Family Christmas.
My dad was litty, though, for sure. My dad was gone off the Miller Lite 6-pack.
Okay, so he had a time back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if he didn't like coke or anything cool, but he definitely was drunk.
Right. Well, I mean, when we pull up for Christmas, I will. I don't plan on doing tequila shooters with your parents, but I wouldn't mind getting a couple glasses of Chard in them to hear some.
My mom will not drink, and my dad definitely ain't drinking a Chard. But sure, maybe
is a Chard too gay? What's going on?
I just don't think he's a wine. I think if you brought over one of your Twisted Creep IPAs, he'd probably be more interested.
Twisted Creep IPA.
Your little weird. We have those here, but
I know you guys have IPA there. That's probably all y'all got.
That's all we got. Speaking of IPAs, we do have a guest today.
Okay.
He's not in the beer industry. His name is Thom Bettridge. He's the editor-in-chief of High Snobiety, a magazine and website you might be familiar with if you like clothing or cartoons or whatever. He's also he formerly worked at O32C with my shooter Big Jorg Koch, and before that and after that Interview magazine as well. So just another member of the New York media elite joining us on the podcast today, Jason.
Damn, the guy knows how to edit some motherfucking content, doesn't he?
He really does. Yeah, he also just had a child, so I think that'll be interesting to talk about.
You love children and childbirth, and you can't wait to start a family, so that will be good.
Yeah, that's not true. Let's give Thom a call. Let's jingle his line, TJ. Thom, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm just down here at my parents' house trying to position myself next to a Christmas tree so the phone reception is good.
Is that, Chris, is it a real tree or is it an artificial?
There's two trees in the house, and I believe they're both artificial.
Okay, good, because that will act as an antenna then. A real tree,
I
don't know if a real tree will really deliver too much of a signal.
I understand. Thom, how are you, bro?
I'm amazing, man. It's great to hear from you.
You too, man. Are you in the Big Apple?
I'm in the Big Apple. I'm about to maybe decamp to Los Angeles in about a week. Yeah.
That sounds like maybe you're following trends by someone that hosts this podcast, but I'm not going to name any names.
Yeah. Chris is the only guy who's ever been to Los Angeles from New York.
It's crazy.
And Thom, you sound like a real trend hopper right now, but that's cool. So you want to come out to the clear, sunny, hot skies of Los Angeles, and you also have a baby, right?
I do have a newborn baby.
Yeah,
shout out.
Is this going to be... Please give a shout out to your newborn baby.
Shout out to my baby.
What that baby doing?
What are you prepared? Like, are you doing this because you just need some space? Because you've been in the city the whole time, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm the last guy. I often compare my life currently to that season of Lost where the guy has press a button every 25 minutes or else the world ends. It's a little bit that's kind of what my house is a bit. I'm sitting in a room at a table covered in Post-it notes and just kind of tweaking out. I feel like I need some LA energy right now.
I'm just kind of tweaking out. You know what I mean? Just kind of hanging and tweaking.
Yeah, it's cool.
So is this going to be the first time you bring your infant child on an airplane, or are you leaving that baby at home?
Yeah. And it's weird because it's you can't really put a mask on a 6-month-old. So I've been thinking about maybe making him a veil or some.
This is your kid's gonna look like Michael Jackson's son. What's his name? Blanket.
Yeah, he's gonna be you're
gonna have a blanket.
Yeah, I want to create some sort of veil or some kind of some kind of.
Lana Del Rey's mask, where it was kind of that sequin thing. It was clear that the coronavirus could easily seep in through those holes. But it's
maybe a little bit tighter of a weave than the Lana mask.
Got it. Yeah, that's actually smart.
I was what designer are you gonna contact for this? Because I know you're connected. So I would love to hear the number one designer you would employ to make a mask for your newborn child.
I think the first thing you think is obviously a Marine Serre baby mask would be interesting.
The first thing you think, of course.
But I don't know. I think my baby's style is more of kind of a rustic, Emily Bodie kind of look. And so
I thought you were going to say Oberg, but
yeah.
Okay. Wow, so another Bodie baby.
I would probably commission a Bodie airplane veil for the baby. I think that would be my first choice designer.
I love your airplane veil. Who does that? Oh, it's Bodie. Yeah, each one is handmade. It's kind of a thing.
That's a great idea.
Well, because the way I imagine it was having how those Saudi guys have this sort of ring that goes on the top of their head that holds the head covering together. I was thinking of getting some kind of ring and then having a sort of semi-transparent veil that goes over the baby. That was kind of how I imagined the construction of it.
How does your baby mama feel about all of this fashion tomfoolery going on?
Oh, I haven't told her about any of it. So
okay. I had a feeling,
but she'll probably be cool with it.
Yeah, she just likes results. I think she'll appreciate it much more as a final product than as a concept. I think.
Sure.
Need to be involved in all process and the ideation. It's more of a completion that she needs to see.
Yeah, totally.
So what are you hoping to do out in Los Angeles exactly?
I'm gonna kick back. I really enjoy driving around aimlessly. So I'm a big fan of. I used to love going to the gym in Los Angeles, but that's not really like a thing anymore.
So you're gonna rent a Lambo truck and just drive in circles through West Hollywood?
Ideally, yeah, ideally. And I usually
was-
stay kind of close to Venice, and so I sometimes go to like Gold's Gym when I'm there and like watch like really like buff people work out and like work. I just like doing weird. I like to just kind of do like a kind of Larry David, aimless LA thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm into checking out the buff guys as well over in Venice. I think that's cool, and I think it's a great place to come. You know, leave the family at home and then just kind of drive around aimlessly. Really find yourself out here on the 405.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also like in terms of baby gear, I think I've been thinking about investing in like a jogging stroller as like an accessory. So I might just do like a kind of like, and they have these ones that are kind of like off road. So I was thinking about doing a kind of like all terrain baby jogging thing.
My sister has twins, and she has one of those, and she swears by it. And that is extra weight to work out, and she's for it.
Yeah, I just think it's cool. Like, I just love stuff. And so I feel like I've really been exposed to like a whole new categories of things in a way that I'm like shamelessly, convinced.
You black out and cop a bunch of shit.
I should. I really need to.
So what is your worst item that you are a shopaholic or a copaholic for?
That's a really good question. I definitely
what that real do.
I definitely own way too many like Bluetooth speakers.
How many do you need for which occasions?
There's different sizes, levels of portability. I have like I really like backpacks, and so I have like too many backpacks. I think like more than a person needs, and they're surprisingly cumbersome to store. Because I like sort of like I'm a really big fan of this brand called Mystery Ranch, which makes these like amazing kind of like tactical backpacks. But now that I have like 3 of them, I kind of wonder like what I'm doing with all 3.
Okay, and are we collecting and selling, or are we just collecting and hoarding?
I'm not much of a resale guy, to be honest with you. It's never been. I've always just tried to like either avoid getting stuff I don't want or giving it away.
Okay, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
How grateful to be able to afford to just give it away when you're done with it, you know?
Yeah, well, I get a lot of free shit in the mail as part of my job, so then I kind of am like, do I want to sell this? Especially if something's like not actually like valuable on the resale market, you're kind of like, yeah. You're like, am I going to put this on Grailed and get $35 like after the commission, or should I just like give it to like my cousin?
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've learned. Because I get a decent amount of things in the mail for free, and my girlfriend, she's a wardrobe stylist, and she gets a lot of shit in the mail for free. And just giving it to her family, giving everything to her family has been this amazing gift, because they're like, her parents are just like stoked to get the worst, ugliest gear of all time. That like normally I would just put it in like straight into the trash can, and then I'll give it to her dad, and he'll be like, "This is a sick shirt. Thank you so much." And
what's your favorite thing that you get in the mail for free? What's that thing that really lights you up?
Well, my friend has a company called Weed Sport, and they make like CBD and THC like sports recovery things, like pills and balms and like Epsom salt soaks, and that's stuff that I actually will enjoy and consume. But I mean, otherwise, Chris gets like alcohol sent over to my house because he's sober. So he just directs all of it to my address. So that's stuff that's useful, like things that I can consume. Or coffee is another one of like, it's just like giving somebody a gift card to Amazon. Like it's not the most personal gift, but I will absolutely use it compared to here's a t-shirt with like some palm trees on it.
I actually secured the coolest free thing I've ever gotten in my life yesterday, and I haven't received it yet. This is a How Long Gone exclusive, Tom.
Okay, hit me.
Tom, I hope you're sitting down.
I'm receiving a year's worth of wellness formula pills in the mail.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Okay, did you make sure to get the capsules, or are you getting the pressies?
No, I would never get the pressies. Thank you for teaching me that. No, I'm getting the capsules and a year's supply sent here. So that is about as good as it's going to get.
Damn, I mean that's gonna be how you beat COVID. I'm assuming if we learned anything from Joe Rogan and his podcast.
That's my understanding is that COVID can only be beaten with supplements.
Immunity is key. Well,
immunity is key.
I was talking to a friend of the pod, Southern Truett Dietz, going way back, and he was talking about the wellness formula, and he was saying the press pills, despite being hard to swallow because they are so disgusting, it's I can't even stomach it. But he was saying, placebo effect or not, he feels like it works better because it, like when things taste so bad, like a cayenne ginger shot or whatever, even if it's not doing shit, because you're suffering through that pain, it will end up doing something better for you in the long run. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that.
That question is for Tom, not for you, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Tom, please expand.
You do believe in that? What other ways do you like to punish yourself and your body, Tom?
That's a good question. I mean, I definitely think that unpleasant tasting things are inherently good for you. I think I'm really into like sort of weird like powders that I put in my smoothie, like a maca or like a cordyceps, and like if you try those things on their own, they definitely taste like shit. So
you're
really
an adaptogen daddy, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And do you feel those differences? You think so? It's not like a placebo at all.
Yeah, to be honest, I have no idea. It's just kind of like, I think it's just what I want in my smoothie. It just like enhances the experience of the smoothie.
No, I agree.
Yes.
It gets it turned up.
Can you walk us through the smoothie? I want to hear what's the smoothie recipe.
Yeah, smoothie recipe would be nice.
Okay, so it's a sort of non-dairy milk. I make my own almond milk sometimes, so like ideally, it would have my own.
Don't stunt like that.
Okay, so in an ideal world, when you have the time, this is from your own teat almond milk.
Yeah, the Bettridge cuvee almond milk goes in there.
You're not afraid to squirt off, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I strain it with my bare hands. So that's the base.
He doesn't even need a Vitamix.
Yeah. Then you have I have a Vitamix. I got it ready. There's I love like a fresh strawberry, like a really good strawberry. So that's kind of like my go-to smoothie. Like it's kind of a strawberry shake, I would kind of describe it as.
And then sorry to interrupt, when we're in these winter months where strawberries are out of season, are we forced to go frozen? What's going on?
To be honest, winter smoothies are a little dark. I think
both in color and in concept.
Yeah, when it comes to like a frozen fruit smoothie, I think my go-to is like a frozen mango, like a kind of like a mango lassi.
Okay,
bro, that's fucked up. That's
not fucked up. Mango lassi is like the most commonly consumed smoothie in the world, probably, if we're just going off of populations of India.
Yeah, it doesn't feel healthy to me.
The mango fruit? It's mango and yogurt.
Yeah, exactly. Something about it. I just feel like the powders don't mix as well. Does it mask the taste of the powders better, Tom, than strawberry?
Yeah, it's like it's got a little tartness to it that I find really pleasant. And I think like so I get the adaptogens in there. I get like a raw honey, like a wildflower honey.
Ooh, baby.
Bee pollen is crucial.
Of course,
for unlocking the properties of the honey.
Okay.
I put cordyceps. I put maca, which is like another kind of like weird fucking root thing or whatever. I put a thing called tocos, which is like a rice bran soluble that makes your smoothies creamier. If you're vegan, it makes them taste more like ice cream.
Just you said Cocos?
Tokos, Tokos.
Oh, Tokos. Oh, I know what Tokos is. That's like the
I
sun
thought that
potion
was-
stuff, right?
Yeah, it's Toco Loco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Toco Loco.
I
That
thought
gets
that
it
was
all.
the
So
streetwear
are you
brand, to be
vegan,
honest.
Tom?
I'm vegan, yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
Wow,
Well, when you come to
wow.
LA, I gotta have you pull up to Erewhon. Are you going to be able to do that? Are you familiar with that establishment?
I can pull up. Yeah, I've definitely. Its reputation precedes it.
Yeah. I mean, there's many. My girlfriend will go over and get a strawberry smoothie that is $20, like multiple times a week. She's just like, I'm just gonna do it, and ends up doing it like 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, she could be spending $100 on this one smoothie a week, and it is damn good, and it tastes like a fresh summer strawberry, even in these winter bone-chilling months of December.
Yeah, I love just blowing money on drinks that aren't even alcoholic. That's like if I were like actually rich, like a billionaire, I would just blow money on expensive non-alcoholic, like weird rare kombuchas and like smoothies and shit. That
So
would be
are you
I would have like a kombucha cellar or some dumb shit like that.
This is the right podcast for you. You found your home because this is a category that we're also very interested in ourselves.
Yeah.
What's your favorite booch, guys?
I'm not a booch guy. Jason's more of a booch guy.
I used to drink a lot of booch before we all really knew what was going on, and it was a little more of a novelty. But I was always like a straightaway alcohol, not the straight edge one, but the one that has the alcohol in it. Just a GT Dave's trilogy, a classic fastball right down the plate. I also like the Health Aid Pink Lady Apple. It's a little nice.
Oh, that's twisted, bro. Not apple.
But nowadays
that was deceptively good.
Nowadays, I will just do, maybe you can relate to this, as a guy who likes putting weird little things in his body, but I'll just do a shot of apple cider vinegar, Dr. Brown's or whatever it is. Not Dr. Brown's.
That's
Straight up?
Bragg's.
Straight up.
Yeah, Bragg's. Yes, sorry.
Bragg's.
Yeah, just do a Bragg's apple cider vinegar shot. That'll put some hair in your chest. That will, whatever is going on with you, it'll just smack you across the face.
So
Is that supposed
I
to-
have a
is
brag story for you guys, but before I
This is turning into a good podcast so far, Tom. I like where this is going.
so I was staying at a place called Optimum Health Institute, which was like I was staying there between when I was working at 032C and when I was working at Interview, and it's this kind of like it's located like outside of San Diego, and it's basically like a vegan like detox. Like you basically like do enemas and like eat lettuce all day.
Is this like does it have a Heaven's Gate energy to it, or there's no sacrificial killings or anything like that?
No, it definitely feels fanatical, but like in a very like almost a very bureaucratic direction. Like you kind of have to like write down compulsive notes about like how your digestive system works and stuff like that.
Okay, you so it's like a where people can detox for, like if their diet needs a reset, and it's like a very controlled vegan diet plan that people get put on to reset their insides, I guess. Is that what it is?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, and like some people who go there like have like terminal illnesses and stuff like that too. So, and then some people just want to lose weight or like whatever. But when I was there, I learned about all this kind of like that's how I became vegan and learned about all this stuff. But what's interesting is that there's like a Bragg's scandal because I think in the sort of healthy the healthy eaters community, like Bragg's liquid aminos is like this kind of like soy sauce replacement that like healthy people put on everything. Like you'll eat kale and you'll put like half a bottle of this like liquid aminos shit all over it.
Sure.
But then they discovered recently that it has like a naturally occurring, like basically MSG.
Which,
Love that.
And so
MSG
now
is also naturally occurring.
Yeah, so it's like they basically so it's been ousted from the community as an approved condiment of the obsessively healthy.
I mean, it makes sense. I get it. I mean, I never really loved the Bragg's liquid amino to begin with. Like it was cool, but it was it didn't give me anything. I mean, it was like, this is as salty as soy sauce. I think it's just like a cheating soy sauce, but
Yeah.
RIP. I mean, as long as they don't come for big nutritional yeast, I'll be able to sleep soundly today.
Yeah, I love nutritional yeast as well.
Wait, how long were you at this camp?
I was there for like 3 weeks.
Holy shit!
And what
that's a long time.
was there a specific reason why you attended?
I think I had always wanted to go, but I always am like, I never have a
Trying to
chance
get
to take
those
3
cum
weeks
gutters
off.
going? Wait, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Like I never have a chance to like take 3 weeks off, and I was like between jobs. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go. I was there by myself. I watched like, I basically was just starving to death and watching Terrace House for like
Damn.
3 weeks.
Wow. This is some content right here. I hope we
So-
wrote about this for the New Yorker or something.
Did you make it out? What did you feel like at the end? Were you on high, or did you feel depleted?
Oh man, I felt so good. I was like, I kind of like it. Even I weirdly like kind of changed my look while I was there, but like by accident.
You
Go
mean like
on.
a haircut or clothing? Did you start wearing big O's?
I started like I got really into these kind of like swishy, like sort of like jogger pants that Solomon makes, and I started wearing Teva sandals that I bought, and then because I was wearing Tevas, I started painting my toenails, and so then
Damn, this is a journey physically, mentally, and spiritually.
and I had a crystal that they gave me too, so like that was a big part of my outfit, and then.
Damn.
But then, so then I returned to New York to start an interview, and I was like, whoa, everyone here is like harshing my mellow so hard, like, and eating like meat products. Like, this is disgusting. But then, like, basically a month in, I was like one of them, and I was like eating like food out of a dumpster at like 8 p.m., making magazines like I always am. So.
So it was a nice reset, but but you did stick with the vegan diet, so I guess that's a nice takeaway.
Yeah, that was a good takeaway.
So has this deep-seated desire to become like a vegan, Teva-wearing, crystal-carrying person, is that something that's new for you, or is that something that has always been wanting to come out of you?
I think that I kind of like go in extremes, I guess. You know, so like rewind another 2 years, and I was smoking like 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and like and like drinking all the time and all that stuff, like just casually drinking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I don't know. I just kind of like the pendulum just swings where it needs to swing.
Yeah.
With me.
Do you like experimenting with your body?
To some extent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always loved to do that, and you can
Jason's
learn some
a big experimenter. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, are we doing enemas? Are we doing colonics? Are we doing some more fucked up shit like that? How deep does your rabbit hole go?
I mean, I've been down the rabbit hole. Right now, I'm a little bit more tame, but I think I've definitely gone down the colonic rabbit hole. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, at your not at your worst, but maybe at your best, not at your lowest or your highest. Like what was like the epitome of like the ultimate thing that you could do? Are you putting stuff inside your urethra? Are you removing bones? Did you have an organ removed? Like, take me to the wall.
I think discovering that I could like fast on juice for like more than 3 or 4 days was definitely like kind of like an eye opener for me.
Sure.
And that I felt totally fine.
Like after a certain point or at the end?
Just the whole time. Like it wasn't even a thing. You know, it was kind of really fascinating, like pushing that far. But I guess my philosophy is like I like to have a way, no matter what way it is. You know, so it's like if my way was being a hedonistic, unhealthy person, that was the way. If it's like, you know, being way too into like reading books or watching movies or vegan shit or liquid aminos or whatever, I just like to have like, it just makes life more interesting.
You want to have a clear path going wherever it is that you're going. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good place.
Yeah, it's like hobby almost.
Yeah,
I kind of like this approach. I think I can learn something from you, Tom.
Thank you. I'm sure I could learn a lot from you guys too.
Do you still smoke cigs? I'll teach you how to be vegan, healthy, and still smoke.
I mean, I never had a chance to try that, but
yeah, I'm assuming that having a newborn child might put a little hurdle in that. It's probably made you want to smoke less.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I've never had any like after I quit smoking cigs, I never looked back once. Like, I never even think about them.
Not even at a Juul?
No, and I sort of stopped smoking before Juuls were really like a thing. And so I never even really I never really hit the Juul like in a significant way.
Well, by the end of the show, I'm going to have you hankering. All right, that's kind of my goal for today's episode.
Did you live in Berlin?
I did, yeah.
Can you tell me? So Berlin is the only city I've ever been to where I instantly hated it.
which doesn't that say so much about Chris?
Like, I got off the plane and I was like, I hate it here. And then we stayed there for like 4 or 5 days and actually socialized a lot with your former coworker. And, I felt like I saw what I needed to see, but it just didn't click for me. Is that because I'm sober or is that because I'm closed-minded?
No, I mean, I think Berlin is a pain in the ass. It's like, it's a city that does not embrace human beings. It's like it's very arid. Like, it's like they don't take credit card anywhere. It's hard to find good food there. It's like dark and kind of like shitty looking. And so I think you have to just find like,
are there any pros
right
to
rhythm?
It? Yeah, what are the
there's
parts?
Tons of pros. I mean, it's like you just have to find like the right rhythm. It's like, but you can do it wrong very easily. If that makes sense.
Did you move there for the job at O32C, or were you there previously and that job came?
Just a techno guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I moved there for work, and it was this funny thing because like everyone else that was like a non-German person living there was like, yeah, I'm here to find myself and like dance the funky rhythms of the night or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, it sucks that they don't take credit card anywhere. It doesn't.
But I mean, shit. I didn't know that they don't take credit card everywhere. Is it just cash only? Is that the vibe?
They definitely have like gotten better about it, but I would say it's the lowest percentage of credit card accepting establishments of any city I've ever been to.
Interesting. And they do have funky rhythms, though.
Yeah,
that's what they're. Were you? I imagine your hedonistic phase was also there.
Yeah, it definitely was part of it for sure. I mean, at O32C, we used to have like, actually both of the offices we had like these kind of balconies, and they were both very brutalist looking in the same kind of way. And so a big part of the working process was just everyone would just go out into the balcony and smoke cigs like all day. And so that was kind of like, I don't know, it's like a rhythm. It's like you couldn't have an idea unless you smoked a cigarette.
Jason's going to apply for a job now, so thank you for telling me.
Yeah, I mean, everything about that except the brutalist balcony sounds pretty much like my life.
Amazing. Yeah, no, you got to try. It's the cigarette smoker's heaven.
Yeah, I mean, I love electronic dance music, smoking. I like a nice sausage, you know what I mean? And I also love riding a bicycle around from place to place and getting pretty drunk. So it does. I've actually never been there. Everyone says it would be the ideal city for me. And
there's a lot of
funny
like,
that it's
synergies.
Chris's most hated.
I think like there's certain details about Berlin that are great. Like, for example, I love like gyms in Berlin. Like, I used to work out at this gym that was in like kind of like an airplane hangar, and it was like had like a dusty floor. It sort of was like
it sounds like the Christina Aguilera "Dirty" video, if I'm not mistaken, Tom.
Yeah, no, it was very that. Like, it was very like you know that like spoof on SNL, like Sprockets with like Mike Myers. Oh yeah, it was like if like Sprockets made a gym of just like and like weird industrial sandbags that you could like pick up and like throw places as like your workout and stuff. Yeah, and I remember I once went to this other gym there that was like in a shipping container.
God damn it.
And all the guys there were like skinheads, and I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. Like, I'm in a gym with a bunch of like Nazis. And then the guy explained to me that they were anti-fascist vegan skinheads.
Ooh. Yeah, a nice sharp.
Something you should know. Yeah, something you should know about the skinhead community, Tom. It contains multitudes. So, the
racist part of skinheads nowadays are probably the minority.
Have I told the story on this podcast about in Atlanta, the Nazi skinheads would try to recruit you on public transportation if you had tattoos?
No, tell me about that.
They would just kind of come up to you and like hand you like a card that had like a little bit of information, but you could tell it was weird. My friends probably still have the cards, but it was like an understood like, hey man, maybe you should come like hang out with us, and hand you like a business card. The way that like a drug dealer would hand you a business card that said like 24/7 with a phone number on it. You know what I mean? It was the same. It was the same kind of energy, but getting you to join the Nazi skinhead regime of Atlanta, Georgia.
I would love to see like the font on that, like the font design choices on that card. Like, is it in like a Helvetica, like a Times New Roman?
It's probably cool, to be honest, design wise. I mean, I think that we all know that the design, business card design books in the last 5 years. We've seen some great fonts. We all know about the Chicago Gangster. That was a classic tome. But the Berlin workout scene actually caused me a lot of problems. So it's funny you brought that up.
Tell me about it.
I couldn't. So I got off. First of all, I was coming from the south of France, so I was coming from heaven into hell, and I needed to go to the gym because that's all I do, and I'm like desperate. I have to go every day or I lose my mind. And I couldn't find a single gym in Berlin that I could pay to go to. It's all like you pay for the year and then you scan a barcode to get in. There's no one at the front desk.
Oh, so you couldn't just do a little 1-day pass?
I couldn't do a little 1-day pass, so I ended up in a weird powerlifting gym full of like German hardcore types. And I don't mean techno hardcore. I mean real hardcore.
Das ist bullshit.
This is bullshit. But it was a really tough day for me, Tom, and I wish I would have known you then.
I know. I could have steered you in the right direction. I could have helped you out, man.
I needed a lot of help that day. I was having a fucking meltdown.
So is your current career and workflow situation similar to that of a brutalist balcony cig smoking, or is it different nowadays at your current employer?
It's a lot. I mean, at the moment right now, it's a lot of like.
Obviously, you're working from home.
Yeah, it's like a Zoom chat roulette kind of situation. But I find I'm just constantly talking now. I'm just talking.
Do you like that, Tom?
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I feel like, as a writer, I feel like I'm at my worst when I'm talking. It's also why like I never really fucked with podcasts before, because I hate the sound of my own voice. I always say stupid shit when I talk to people, and because I've had the rare pleasure / horror of reading myself like in transcripts often, because I'm like editing interviews I've done. And I'm just like, okay, so like, I don't know, man. Like, how you feeling about your, like, I don't know, dude. You know what I mean, right? Like that's like how the questions are before you edit them.
Yes. So you like to have the power of editing those words very precisely, so the exact thing that you're trying to convey can come through. Yeah,
completely. Don't you feel the same way, Chris?
I do, but also I love the free form of podcasting. I think this is actually more natural for me than writing, for sure. But I also maybe don't care about mistakes as much, which could be bad or good depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think that they're both like, it's just the yin and yang. They're both two styles or disciplines, and being good at both of them is a pretty cool skill to have. I'm not saying that we are there at all, but
I would say, Tom, that actually a lot of ideas for writing come to me during the podcast.
Yeah, I'm feeling really engaged by you guys right now.
Oh yeah?
How would you rate this conversation with a normal How Long Gone conversation? Like, is it in the center or is it in the fringe of the normal
No, this is pretty on. This is pretty on track with the standard convo that we have. It's usually us asking you a question that makes no sense, you laughing, and then you begin to start answering it, and then we'll make a bad joke, and then we'll move on. So this is all tracking. Don't worry.
Tracking perfectly. But I mean,
does it feel as perfect to you as it does to us?
I guess that's a no, Tom.
No, I mean it's tracking well for me. I mean, I think it's a little bit like I feel like I'm kind of like maybe waiting for a plane with you guys.
Oh,
damn! That's a great compliment.
You know, like having like a kind of like long form small talk.
Yeah. So
you know, but like in a good way.
Well,
though.
you know, to bring it back,
I love small talk.
To bring it back to your vegan days in San Diego, it's kind of like a few guys just sitting around passing the hacky sack back and forth to each other, kind of getting to know each other. A little bit of that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Of that. It does feel like though we could be coworkers that get along pretty well, and we're stuck in the airport, and the flight back to Newark is delayed 2 hours. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. It's like that kind of like that level of familiarity and banter.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know, you're totally right.
Yeah, some people just really love to just hear useless, mindless banter. You know, and that's
I mean, because isn't the whole podcast thing that like you kind of it's like a substitute for being around friends when you're like commuting to work or something, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, when you're just kind of walking around the house, you know, putting your laundry away or whatever it is that you might be doing, and you don't want to hear the thoughts inside of your own head, you would much rather hear a few strangers, you know, talking about Bragg's liquid aminos for an hour, and it makes the demons, you know, take a little chill for a while and put them at bay.
Tom, do you listen? I find I can't listen to anything if I'm writing or working. Do you listen to podcasts, or are you not even really a listener?
I love to listen to podcasts when I'm like walking around or like grocery shopping, and I get into kind of like a hypnotic state of like semi being where I am, semi listening to the podcast. I like the kind of level of like mental like assertion it takes to listen to a podcast. You know, especially if it's not really like about that much stuff. Like I often, some of the podcasts I listen to are about like basketball gossip and stuff. And ironically, I don't even really watch basketball anymore, but it's just like this weird kind of like meditative thing of like just walking around having dudes talking about stats, like and like
it's comforting to you
in the NBA.
No, I get that.
Shout out to Cookies Hoops, man. Yeah, sounds like a good podcast. That is. I wonder. I've never listened to a podcast of a subject like that where there's like numbers involved and it's kind of just comforting, but it's not something I need to fully pay attention to.
Yeah, you kind of zone in, zone out. You know, like I don't know. It's kind of I find like sports radio like really soothing, even though I don't follow any sports actively. I don't know. That's. I guess that's a little weird.
No, it's not.
Tom, you're a freaky guy, and I like it.
Tom, you be containing multitude. Yeah, I have a twin brother who is obsessed with basketball and sports and statistics and all that stuff, and he has like entire group chats with like 30 people in it, and they're all talking about all this stuff, and they're listening to all the shows, and it's just like, you know, some people bond differently. We bond over fucking tofu stuff, and other people bond over sports, I suppose.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been having this working theory about some of my own work. You know, because sometimes I wonder. I'm like, who are these millions of people who read this like fashion coverage that we're making and stuff? You know, like who are those people? And I'm starting to realize that I think fashion and style, it's like almost like the new sports. It's like people are kind of like, you know, because like if you look at sports in like, I don't know, the 70s, right? Like you would follow it and you maybe like wouldn't know like anything about the team except for your favorite player. You probably didn't know about other teams. And then ESPN came along and everyone became kind of like their own sports businessman, like analyst person, like in their free time. And I think it's a little bit like that with fashion too, where it's like, I think even people who dressed well, like didn't know shit about it like 10 years ago. Like I think if you asked like a 18-year-old 10 years ago who the creative director of like Dior was for menswear, they wouldn't have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
They'd be like, what the fuck is a creative director? Is that a real job? You're like, no, it's not a real job.
I feel like now everyone is kind of like like almost like a sports fan about it, or like it's kind of like looking at what the industry's about when like you don't even work in the industry. You're just kind of like
we had to use ESPN and other media outlets like that for the gamification of games, ironically, and the gamification of fashion has grown maybe because of the resale market, and also just the sheer boredom that we're all facing every day of like, I guess we're gonna spend today talking about a new fall winter collection from this menswear company, but other people, it's like wise to know about it because then they could invest their money, on a small scale by buying pieces and reselling them and making a living, or on a large scale by absorbing companies and selling them for more money, etc.
I think it's all personality based, Tom. I think it's interesting to know about the personalities of anything, and that's what sports is. Like, sports stats don't interest me, but some of the people interest me because they're so insane. Which is the same thing with fashion or anything like that, where it's like music is a little different, I think, for me, but fashion and sports, I do see the parallel.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it's sort of like Greek gods, like Greek mythology and Mount Olympus. You know what I mean? Like, I think you have these different characters that interact in different ways. They have like certain tendencies, but you want to see what they're going to do in a particular time.
Do you actually like clothes? Like, do you care about clothes and like construction, all that dorky shit? Or are you more into the gossip and the personalities and the way the business works?
I love like the image making part of it, and like this idea of, because like I kind of came up studying like art history and like sort of like more kind of postmodernism and like those kinds of things. And so I love this idea that like, by virtue of being like in the luxury industry, you're essentially sneaking artistic ideas into the machinery of like the global economy, And so I think that's like the high I get out of it. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe someone got like paid to do this or someone got someone else to buy this, or someone got like, we did this really long interview recently between Hans Ulrich Obrist and Marc Jacobs. And it's just like the kind of like the level of stuff that Marc was able to do when he was at Louis Vuitton, and like having Richard Prince and like Cindy Sherman and like all these people just like making content, and like also like, the first like Pharrell Williams and like Kanye West like fashion stuff happened there. It's just really cool to think that you can kind of play with culture in that kind of way. So I guess that's kind of what I get out of it in some respects.
Damn, that's actually, I've never thought of it that way, and I think I get that out of it too. I never really realized that. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's like, this Dior stuff everybody's talking about. To me, it's abysmal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see like washed graffiti artists, but I guess like it's also like, we have to remember these guys that are running these houses and designing these clothes. They're just like living out whatever fantasy they have. You know what I mean? So whether that's Marc Jacobs and we think it's cool, or it's Kim Jones and we don't think it's cool, it's the same thing. That's never going to change. These people in power are going to do what they want to do, and hopefully it sells.
Yeah, I mean, that's also like the thrill of the chase for me of making magazines and like content, right? Because you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I got Jürgen Teller to make photographs for me, or I can't believe I got like this artist to let me publish their work in like a magazine. Like, who the fuck am I? Like, it's like, it almost feels like a heist. Like you're kind of getting away with making culture, and that's like, there's a certain rush to that, to like making that happen.
What do you think as a fellow magazine lover? What do you think we're looking at? Because I know that Heist Dividey, they did not have a magazine. They had a magazine, but you have like changed it and made it into something that is different. Correct?
Yeah, there was one previously, but I kind of rebranded it and like, had my way with it in like a fun way. And it's definitely a thrill. I think it's also cool to think about how having such a robust digital platform can make magazine making even more interesting. And so we usually rarely ever make one thing specifically for either medium. And so that's also like really fun to kind of figure out those types of puzzles and stuff.
You mean at the conception point, you're like, okay, this is going to live this way in print. It's going to live this way online, and they'll complement each other. It's never just repurposing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, and that's like, that adds like another layer of difficulty to everything, because I think with magazines, it's all about creating a formula and then repeating it, and so I think
Totally.
you got to find ways to make it harder for yourself over time, like I think that's like always, and I think, it was like, that was something we would do a lot at 032C is we would just be like, okay, like, let's have like a book review section in the next issue, or let's like do, like we would always just find ways to make it like, to kind of like
as
make
hard
it
as possible.
feel, or just to do it like a new again, or something.
Is it interesting?
Like
so, I mean, 032C and Interview are obviously very established and been around for a long time, but High Stability is a well-known digital platform, but the print side of it was something that I feel like you had a lot of reign, like a lot of lane to work in.
Yeah, and I think with projects like that, it's always good to give yourself like constraints, or to give yourself sort of, like a kind of white walls to bounce shit off of, and so I think with the High Style magazine, I really wanted like the first one especially, which was like a style mag, to really have the feel of like a sort of like 90s menswear magazine, so like I was looking a lot at like old issues of Details, or like I was looking a lot at like a lot of great catalogs that have occurred through the years, whether like, you look at like old Abercrombie and Fitch catalogs, old Barney's catalogs. And so, and I really like this idea of like heightening this idea of like a magazine being a place where you go to discover products and discover outfits and like geek out on clothes. And so that kind of like those kinds of constraints can help you conceptualize something. Because I think if you have too much freedom, it's like really hard to
nail it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I think that like a magazine, and I think style is a better way to put it, but I would think of that almost as like a shopping magazine, in a way where it's like, it's not about like you're making all of the stuff in there look very attractive in a cool editorial way, which a catalog, like you're saying, or a mailer type thing isn't necessarily trying to do.
Yeah, and like I really wanted to kind of embrace that, because I almost feel like magazines are trying to move towards this kind of like fashion as a form of storytelling paradigm, which I think in a lot of ways like originated at like US Vogue, and like this idea of having like these like fashion shoots that were like going to crazy places and like all this stuff. But like I really enjoy like the way objects look photographed on like white backgrounds, and like doing weird graphic things like that too. And so there's definitely like a lot of influences from that sort of more like bubblegum producty area of like magazine making from the 90s that I was borrowing from.
So just to be clear, then I guess I'll keep the deck with my pitch for the Bottega shoot in Africa to myself. But let me know if you have any interest in that in the future, because that's something we could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that we're moving into a post storytelling world, because I mean I feel like the magazine itself, it kind of like it moves more product than just a regular fashion magazine, because it's sort of bridged that gap between catalog and just pure editorial. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I designed the magazine so that it would almost like it would change every issue. And so like the first one was called High Style, and it was like riffing on like sort of like the idea of a style mag. And then the second one we just came out with was called High Tech, and it was like basically like riffing on like a gadgety kind of like front of book magazine, but then also doing stories about like the way technology has affected our lives. And so
was that the Migos cover?
No, that was the one with Lil Nas X that just came out like a week ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I saw that. Okay, so Migos was the first one.
Was the first one, yeah. And so like every issue, it's going to kind of put on a new mask, so to speak. And so like a
very timely reference there. Good word.
Yeah,
yeah, it's true.
In a way, we're all wearing those masks.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah,
I think could you say that question again? We couldn't hear it.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the vibe with Lil Nas X? Was he cool?
I wasn't on set with him, unfortunately, but he seems to be a really cool person and someone who, like, I think something that really attracted me to him as like the cover star, especially, is that he's very much like a self-made like person via the internet, and I love that. And I feel like that's a metaphor for so many things. Cause it's like, I feel like so many brands start out as just like putting t-shirts on an Instagram or whatever. And he's almost like the entertainment industry embodiment of how to just like,
yeah, you're right.
And so like, I really liked that aspect of it. And it was funny too, because in the interview we did with him, he was so candid about it, and like about growing up and like wanting to be famous and like discovering the internet and like how you could find like a kind of something that was more interactive than like watching TV. As someone growing up in Atlanta, like, and so I think it's like kind of like, I don't know, it came out like really well. Like, sometimes you have like ideas about why you want to do something and then the actual thing is like totally different. But I think that cover story was a lot of fun.
No, he's a fascinating guy. I think that I think that you're right, that the entire really modern and almost like scary to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me feel old, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really what it is. But yeah, I mean, he's a fucking superstar. It's crazy how big he got.
Yeah, I think him arriving into the world, like it felt like a generation lapping me of like, oh shit, this is like a whole new thing now, and I'm not good at it.
Yeah, also because he crossed over. He's not like a TikToker that we should know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like a pop star that like you have no choice but to know about.
That's true. That's very true.
But I'm not banging it. I'm not banging it in the truck. I don't know if you are, TJ.
No, I've never listened to a Lil Nas X song.
What do you guys listen to in your free time? Like what's on the Bluetooth speaker at the Black household?
Yeah, look, you can't stop talking about Bluetooth speakers, can you, bro?
It's crazy. I feel like you're on the take. I feel like you're on the.
Yeah, what's the ultimate?
Bluetooth.
Are you
We're
a
gonna get
Beats?
to the bottom of this.
You a JBL guy? You a Beats pill? What's the number one Bluetooth speaker? Don't say the Marshall half stack.
Yeah, I find. All right, can I just say I find the Marshall thing really off-putting. Like, I don't know what bothers me about it so much, but I just find like the fact that it looks like a fake amplifier to be so like I don't know. There's just something. It really it crosses some weird uncanny valley that really kind of like bothers me. I would say.
No, I'm in the same exact boat. It feels like I think a lot of it is like the cross section of the price of it. Like it's not cheap, so it's like an investment into something that is so. I don't know. It just has real. It's a little rapey to me, I guess. Like a straight raper would have it, is what I'm saying.
On my I have the Bose portable speaker. Actually, I just bought it during quarantine when I was in LA. So I was doing my 20 songs of the year playlist this morning.
Oh yeah.
So you can imagine what I'm listening to. Waxahachie.
He's listening to Phoebe Bridgers. He's listening to Phoebe Bridgers. And then other music that's similar to her.
Guitars, yeah.
A small amount of rap. Chris, I think we lost you.
God damn it! You hear me?
Kind of.
Jesus Christ! That's what I'm listening to on my Beats bill. Jason's listening to only NTS ambient.
Yeah, I just listen to ambient music mostly, but I've been trying to get back into listening to music because I'm usually just listening to a random podcast or whatever, but I'm trying to listen to more music. I think I always go in and out of liking it, and it kind of depends on how much you want to live inside of your head or how much you want to run away from whatever's inside of your head.
Yeah, it can be kind of like a burden to pick music, can it? It's like it can be like a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I love it.
Also, like, yeah, it's like so many things about because especially before Instagram, it's like so much like of people's identity was like freighted in what music they chose to listen to. And I find that whole thing really annoying, you know, like having good taste in music being a reflection of your like identity and taste in general. Like, and so I was always really turned off by that.
Well, what was your, did you have a MySpace page song?
No, not really. I was really bad at the internet most of my life. I think like, and I think I mostly got good at it through like having to make content for it.
Sure.
But I think I think if I didn't work in a magazine, I probably like wouldn't use like social media. Naturally.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get that. I get that from you. Yeah, I mean, it is weird that it used to be music was such a big signifier or indicator of somebody, and you know, people like Chris and I would not give somebody the time of day based on their musical choices, and thank God we've graduated past that, and we've learned that you can be a good, enjoyable person even if you do have bad taste in music.
Yeah, Jason, you're still friends with me, so I'm glad that we did realize that.
Okay. Well, you know, I've been meaning to get around to listening to the new Shawn Mendes album, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me go ahead and campaign for Shawn Mendes to be on the next Highest Sobriety cover. Tom, just let me know what you think about that.
I'm here for it. I think it's a good suggestion.
See? Yeah. Thank you, Tom. No, thank you.
Yeah, who's going to be on the next cover? How Long Gone exclusive?
Ooh, I can't tell you. Sorry.
Okay.
When does it come out though?
It's going to come out the first week of March, so we have a bit of time.
Damn, so we're quarterly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That feels good.
Yeah.
So you don't have anything to do with the website, or is it only the magazine?
Oh, I run the website as well.
You do it all.
Yeah.
Damn.
I do it all. Yeah. And I think of it as like one holistic amoeba, you know. I think like I think even social media as well. Like I think thinking about, I think in a way, like where things go often can like determine the idea almost. Like I think there's often like this mistake where it's like, oh, I do a thing and then I figure out how to put it in all these different places. But I actually think that, you know, I think certain ideas like very clearly become like an Instagram idea or like a print magazine idea or like a website idea. And so if I don't know, I feel like if I was limited to one, I would be kind of like unhappy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Just like having kids.
Tom needs to be stimulated from all sections. I understand. I get that.
Yeah, you got to hit all the chakras. I mean, but yeah, I mean.
Hell yeah. Tom, are we doing ayahuasca retreats? Is that a thing that we've started doing over there?
I'm definitely something I'm curious about. It's funny because I used to live in Colombia when I was younger, and like a lot of people were really into doing that, like in the jungle, because a lot of the indigenous people there like do it still, and so, but I never partook in it. I just felt like a really big time commitment.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it, but it is a big time commitment. I don't know. You have to like set a week aside for that. Mentally
I think
prepare.
It's more than a week. I think it's a weekend, and then it's a lifetime.
Yeah,
how that works.
That's true.
There's this joke that I love from Seinfeld where he like Jerry is offered a threesome and he like turns it down, and George is like, "Why did you not do that?" And he was like, "Because then I'd become a threesome guy and I'd have to have different like colognes in my house and wear different clothes because I'm like a threesome guy." You know what I mean? and I feel like it's a little bit like that. It's like, am I ready to become an ayahuasca guy forever, as Chris just said?
Yeah. You don't need to like mentally prepare for like, all right, am I like in a good place for it? Like you have to mentally prepare for your whole brand new life as ayahuasca guy.
Yeah, exactly. Or like right now, like I haven't cut my hair in like 8 months, and I'm like at that point where I could probably put it in a ponytail, but I'm just like, am I ready to be that guy? Like, am I ready to own a hair tie?
Will I be fired from my job if I have a pony and get the Tivas and start painting my nails again? Are the nails painted right now as we speak?
No, I retired the nail painting.
Okay.
It got really cost intensive. Like I would get pedicures like once a week, and you can't really do those anymore anyway. So.
Damn, nails done, hair done as well. Everything was good.
Everything.
A real bad bitch. Thom, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. This is a lot of fun.
I'm glad you had fun. We had fun as well, Thom.
We had fun as well. Tell them where they can find you on the World Wide.
You could find me, my work at highsobriety.com. Make sure to pick up the new issue of our magazine, High Tech. And yeah, you just Google me, find me.
Just Google.
I'm around.
Damn. Okay, big flexer. All right, we'll see you in LA. Erwan on How Long Gone, and good luck with the baby veil.
Yeah, big hug to you guys.
Yeah, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Big old hug to you too, Thom. Bye-bye.
Lisa.
Bye.